Hello, everybody, and welcome to the entertainment headquarters, and welcome to another Television Chronicles. So, it's been a while since I've done one of these. It's just for the fact that throughout the month of October, we did Fear the Wolf, the month of werewolves, and we've been quite busy doing other things, but it's time to get back to regular programming here on the entertainment headquarters. And so I thought, let's have a look at a show that was very highly anticipated and had a lot of buzz around it, but did it hit the mark? That is the question. And to talk about this particular show, I have a good friend of mine and fellow content creator and just amazing badass dude all around, Mr. DJ Anubis of the Metal Tavern Radio.
Hello.
Yes. So this has been quite an interesting year for sci-fi. We've had two much loved, fan favorites, kind of come back with a bit of a bang this year. So of course the first one we'll talk about, of course, is the Predator franchise. So Predator, as you know, it's had two really positive and really entertaining outings this year. We had, of course, Predator Killer of Killers. Really enjoyed that one. And I was pleasantly surprised by Predator Badlands, which has recently been released in theatres. Another great outing for Predator.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So here we are to talk about a show that is based on another franchise that basically goes side to side with Predator. And I was really excited for this. Did I get what I wanted? Let's talk about it. But I am, of course, talking about Alien Earth. So, Mr. DJ Anubis, when you first heard about Alien Earth, what was your initial, reaction?
It's I was a little bit skeptical because it's not that I didn't enjoy, Alien 3 or 4. I thought they were okay, right? I didn't really hate them. But all the hoopla about what was the last one that came out, Romulus or whatever it was.
Alien Romulus.
Yeah, so that didn't hit me like I thought it would, especially considering the director. I expected a bit more from that. It still entertained a little bit, but it didn't blow me away like I thought it might. So obviously, when Alien Earth came about, I thought, well, shit, what's going to happen here now? And then you find out that the entire series has nothing to do with the other stuff at all, except, of course, they share the name Whalen, which is strange. But either way, like going into it, I did find that I found some of the episodes look good, and then some I just didn't like. And now towards the end of the series, like at least the first season, I have concerns, but it still does have some cool shit in it. I'm just a little pissed though because they've decided that they're just not gonna connect to the Ripley universe, which is dumb to me. It was like a dumb move.
Yeah.
But I don't know how you feel about that at all.
It's like I feel like it's like a mixed bag, isn't it? It has a lot of promising stuff in it, but then there's a lot of stuff in it that for me just fell flat.
Yeah.
And going back to like Alien Romulus, as you mentioned, I loved the first half of the movie. Was really drawn in. Second half was a blast. Then for me, it fell apart at the end. I thought they just recreated elements from previous films instead of doing something original with the ending. I cringed when I forgot the name of the guy who basically is like the synthetic, and he said the famous line Ripley said, and that just fell flat for me.
Yeah.
The whole bringing another alien human hybrid into the end.
Like Resurrection, yeah. They
Except
really
that,
just got
it
lost.
looked more human like, obviously, this time round than alien like. For me, it was like, we've already seen this.
Yeah.
Where do we go next? But apparently they are doing a sequel to Alien Romulus, and hopefully, you
That was
never
the other
know,
thing
that might.
too, is, like I do love the director. It's the guy who did Evil Dead remake, which was
Yeah.
fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't care about any of the characters in Romulus at all. Like I just didn't like them. None of them.
Mm-hmm. I do think the guy who played the synthetic in it stood out. He was the best part of it. His
Yeah.
acting was brilliant. I thought he did a good job. But like you see, the rest of the characters, it's a bit like them teenage slasher films. You don't care if they die or live by
Right.
film. Then you just want to see them actually get killed by the aliens.
Right.
Yeah, and for me, it was more about the face huggers. The face
Mhm.
huggers took centre, like that whole scene where there's like hundreds of them running around, and they were all animatronic on wheels, and that running around was freaking fantastic. I loved
Yeah.
it. But like you see, a lot of promise in the first act, second act, but just fell flat for me by film's end. But
Yeah.
let's get cracking and talk about Alien Earth. So, Alien Earth is an American science fiction horror television series created by Noah Hawley. It is the first television series in the Alien franchise and is set 2 years before the event of the 1979 film Alien in an alternative timeline set outside the main canon of the Alien universe, which is what you're frustrated about.
Yeah.
There's a huge ensemble cast in this. Too many to name, but some standout names for me. Timothy Olyphant is in this.
Good actor, by
Arnold,
the way.
great actor, really underrated. Sydney Chandler is the lead in this. An actor that I know, but I don't know if you're familiar with him, is Adrian Edmondson. So Adrian Edmondson, for me, is well known to the British public. He was part of a duo who did a lot of amazing in the 1980s and 1990s sitcoms. He did a British sitcom called Bottom, Young Ones, and then Rick Mayall was his partner. It was like they did a lot of work together. Unfortunately, Rick Mayall died. Rick Mayall was the guy who played Drop Dead Fred. I don't know if you've seen that film. It's a well-established British movie. He was in that. Unfortunately, he passed away, and when he passed away, Adrian Edmondson became a serious actor and is like been killing it on British television in a lot of dramas. And this, I guess, is like his first major break on American television. So he's quite a known actor here. So I didn't even know he was in this until I seen him, and I thought, whoa. You did brilliant. You did brilliant. If you don't know who Adrian Edmond, it's the guy who plays the butler, the guardian of the main villain. In the background there on that photo.
Oh yeah. Okay, so he's like the number one to the rich guy Waylon.
He's like he's
Yeah.
like his protector kind of thing.
Yeah.
But too many actors to name. But the plot of the movie stands is that when a mysterious space vessel crash lands on Earth, a young woman and a ragtag group of tactical soldiers make a fateful discovery that puts them face to face with the planet's greatest threat. Yes, the greatest threat that we've ever faced. There you go, there. That's it on screen.
Oh shit. The
Sorry,
funny thing is, like, the parts that I do like about this, obviously, is they added more creatures to like this whole scenario. So they obviously, which is very interesting because Wayland Corporation has the xenomorph, but also has these other creatures that are very dangerous as well. And we get to see a little bit of that through the series where they can do different things, especially the little octopus thingy that turns into an eye socket or an eyeball for yeah. That's a very interesting creature. But I don't know if you picked it up on as well, but like with Predator Badlands, they're sort of doing the same shit with Wayland over there on that, because that's what they're doing on that planet, is collecting the Cassless, the Callisk, and some of the other creatures there as well. So they're doing the whole Jurassic Park thing, trying like we're gonna open up our own park. But I don't even know if that's supposed to be intentional. Like I don't know if Badlands is ultimately going to connect to Alien Earth or not.
Yeah, I don't know if you were like me. Soon as you heard that Wayland Yutani was a part of Predator Badlands, I immediately went, well, you know what's coming. You know what they're heading towards. They're heading towards another Alien versus Predator, and clearly they're going to showcase maybe a post-credit or a mid-credit scene of an alien popping up, but no spoilers. It's been out for 3 weeks. There was no post-credit scene. There was no xenomorphs in sight. Right. Which I really quite enjoyed about the Predator Badlands. It focused completely on the story of one character, Deck, who was the main protagonist Predator throughout the course of the film.
Yeah.
But as you know, as the film progresses, you've got Sydney Chandler who plays Wendy. So the film starts off basically where you see a spaceship crash into a skyscraper, which was carrying, like you see, different alien specimens. It crashes into the Wayland building, but I believe the ship that crashes isn't part of Wayland Corporation. It's part of a different corporation. So the history on this planet of Earth, in this timeline, in this universe, is basically the entire world's conglomerate is run by different corporations, and different corporations run different parts of the Earth, and have different, have different, work within the government. But basically, it's like these different corporations have basically monopolized the world, and basically the government kind of goes side and side with whatever corporation on that part of the planet's running it. So basically the spaceship crashes into the Wayland skyscraper with all of these alien specimens in it. And that's when we get our first glimpse of this character, who I thought was a standout as well throughout the course of this film, series. So this is Babu Kassi. Babu Cisse, and he plays Morrow, a cyborg employed as a security officer by the Wayland Yutani Corporation, and the only survivor from I can't even pronounce the name of the ship. Is it the Manaut? So the Manaut is the name of the ship. It crashes into the building. But this guy, he don't seem frightened of predator aliens at all, xenomorphs. But he's quite an interesting character. So he's involved in that. And obviously because of this ship crashing into this building, the Wayland building, our main antagonist, the human antagonist, which is Wayland himself.
And he actually does a pretty good job too. He makes you really hate him.
He absolutely does. He basically decides he's going to send like people in to gather the specimens, but it doesn't really work out for them, as all hell fucking breaks loose. And the xenomorph specimen does escape and goes batshit crazy in a skyscraper. One of my favourite scenes is the scene where there's like a statue in the middle of the skyscraper, and the soldiers are looking around and they can't see it, and one turns around and you see the sculpture and the aliens, the xenomorphs camouflaged in the sculpture, Suddenly, as he turns around, you see it starting to move. And next thing you know, Bush gets killed. And I love how that you hear the gunfire and there's people getting warned that there's something in the building you need to exit, and they don't bother because the millionaires have got lots of money. They don't give a shit. They think they're above it all. And the door opens at the party and the xenomorph just runs in and all you hear is the screaming. Say shit like that I enjoy.
Yeah.
In this. So stuff like that I did really enjoy the mixture of special effects and suitmation in this up to a point. I am starting to realise though, I think the xenomorph should only be seen at night.
Yeah. And that's the weird thing, right? So we're going to end up talking about it, but this girl named Wendy, she's a synthetic being, which what Whalen had started doing was taking sick children that really had they were going to die at some point, like soon, because they were just so ill. And he transfers their consciousness into these synthetic bodies, which were much older. Like the bodies are bigger, stronger, so forth. But their consciousness are there. So in the case of Wendy, she has a brother who assumed that she was dead. Like he'd always assumed she was gone and dead, but she'd been kind of keeping tabs on him through, because she's intelligent. She's able to hack in the computer. So she's able to keep an eye on her brother, and eventually finds him and tries to explain who she is. So that adds like this other element of plot device. But at the same time, and I know this is probably one of your frustrating things, is her ability to communicate with the xenomorph to the point that it becomes almost like a pet. She basically can tell it to either fight for her, or somehow has been able to get it to a point where like it can trust her, and so it helps her out when she needs it. But it's just that's one thing I think even Omni probably really dislikes about it, even though I haven't had a chance to really talk to her about it. But
I think Omni fucking hates the show with a passion. See, I'll be honest, I enjoyed the show up to the 5th episode. I thought they were building a good story. Each episode ended on a decent cliffhanger. It did feel generally like it fitted into the lore and the world of Alien. Like you say, there were some great moments. There were great character developments. Like you say, Wayland, the sick children, he basically, like you mentioned, these are the sick kids. He basically put all of their consciousnesses into these synthetic bodies. Basically, he done the Avatar.
Yeah, and that's the thing too, is because like they all are very gifted now that they're older. These bodies, but their minds are so young, and that's sort of like how Wayland was trying to like sort of control them, because they were childlike. They look like grown-ups, but they're children.
And you also give them all names that were referred to Peter Pan.
Yeah.
So obviously Peter Pan is the boy that never grows up. So he's put their consciousness in these synthetic bodies where they're never going to get old. But the difference is, because he has put their consciousness into these synthetic youthful bodies, just like humans, like the main one, who is Wendy, she starts off very naive. She starts off very young, like in how she interacts. But as the plot progresses throughout the episode, she does start to mature. So even though her body's young, mentally she's grown.
Yeah.
And some of the other, obviously synthetic younger, family members, they still have youthful thoughts, and children, especially the one who's got the strength, the ginger girl, I forgot which name she is. She's got like the super strength, and you actually discover their backstory, and it's quite tragic with the mother, who basically things went on with the mother, and people died and so forth. And Wayland, like you say, he's so power hungry. Like, it turns out he is the child and the other adults, basically. In his backstory,
he's so arrogant that he doesn't understand that through his brilliant work. Like you see him do it throughout the early part of the series. He's like, I just need to find someone who can match me intellectually, and like he gets bored. And so, but he doesn't really understand that through his genius, he makes these things, whether it's the xenomorph or the other creatures he's collected or these synthetic beings, that he's outsmarted himself because he doesn't understand the ramifications or consequences when they go wrong, like when it goes bad.
Yeah. So, like I say, I say, the first 5 episodes of me shine, and I know there are people like the story, the character development, like the Wayland's story, how basically he is a child genius. He basically outsmarted his father, basically found a way to basically kill his own father, inherited the corporation. He built a synthetic who is basically the character I mentioned, Adrian Edmondson's character, who is like his number one, who is revealed to also, I guess, be a synthetic. And is basically, he's the face of the company, but Wayland's running it behind the scenes because of his age. And it's like all of those. And then obviously Timothy's character, who is also amazing in this, where he is like, he's like the scientist. He's in the lab studying the different alien specimens. But I saw quite quickly he was a synthetic.
Yeah.
Because he was very cold, and like his behavior, how he interacted with people, he came across quite robotic.
Yes.
And I think they did that deliberate for you to go, but I thought he was another shining part of this series for me. And I got element of David, David from
2001.
No, that's Hal. I'm thinking of David from the
original Alien.
No, Prometheus.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I got elements of him in this because obviously David starts off as a synthetic. He's grown, and then he then believes he's beyond human, so he then starts experimenting, and he's the one that basically releases the xenomorphs within that time frame. But like you say, the first 5 episodes, it's a lot of lore building. There's a lot of great action sequences within the series. There's the Oculus is just amazing. The episode where it goes into the sheep, brilliant. You have them alien flies that basically drain your blood. Then you have the alien plant that basically just sucks you up. So there's some great stuff in this. But once you get past the first 5 episodes of this lore building of Wayland revealing that he's using these synthetics, he's trying to build a better world. He's then trying to cheat death in many ways.
Yeah.
And he's basically, his ego's out of control, and then the synthetic children basically realize they've been a pawn and been used all this time. And suddenly Wendy starts getting this connection with the xenomorph and connecting with it. And for me, once those elements happen, that's where the series takes a drastic turn.
Yeah, and so that's probably another reason why some people would have a problem with this series, because they're trying really hard, and actually Badlands did some of this a little bit, but they're trying really hard to make the xenomorph as well as the other creatures, like, have you feel empathy or sympathy for them. And the thing is, like, the xenomorph as a collective are very smart. But you also have to realize they're also very parasitic, and so like they don't really care about anything but their food sources. And the way that this series goes about it is they kind of take that away from you, because I think that's what sort of probably makes Omni frustrated, is that you take the fear out. No one's fearful anymore. You get a few kills here and there, but overall, everyone that's really involved with Wayland and the surrounding soldiers and Wendy and them, no one really fears the xenomorph, even though it's one of these creatures that could really easily overpopulate and take over the earth, which I think that's going to happen, but like, I'm glad that they didn't rush it because, if they're going to try to make this prolonged, then it's good that they don't rush it. But if they can't get better with the writing, then it might fail before it even gets there. And that's the problem that I worry about.
This was my frustrations. All of the build-up, all the mini teasers and the releases of posters showcasing these badass aliens. So, for example, you had this poster, then you had this amazing action,
Yeah.
and then you had, look, like, this looks brilliant, and then you get to this shit, which
Yeah.
I don't get us wrong, I appreciate that they went old school and brought suitmation and, practical effects back, but I just don't think it worked for me.
Yeah.
And this whole of, making the aliens like basically docile and friendly towards people because they can communicate, for me, takes everything what made the aliens fearful away. It's like, I remember seeing the first Alien as a kid and being pure terrified. And I feel as if I love Predator Badlands, and I liked Killer of Killers. But the thing with the Predator, I feel as if you can do a lot more with, in terms of, they're not just like a mindless alien, they're a culture, they're a race. You can actually show they've got technology, they've got spaceships. You can build foundations on that. But when it comes to the alien, the xenomorph, it's meant to be an animal-like alien. It's meant to live on instinct, like you see, parasitic. And the fact that they're now trying to give, I guess, an alien a personality takes away the thing that made it great.
Right. It's like they wanted to just say, hey, we were able to control the xenomorph, but technically you can't. And throughout most of the Alien films, that's exactly how it is. You can't control it. Like, they find a way to like overrun you. They're like the Zerg from StarCraft. So the fact that they've tried to now like narrow it down, like Wendy has this ability to control this thing. I'm like, well, what's the ultimate purpose here? Is it like all of a sudden now all the synthetic beings, because like you do get this sense at the end of the series of season 1 that Wendy and the rest of them are going to go and take over whatever they're going to take over, and the xenomorph is along for the ride. But you've made it less about the alien now, more about Wendy and the rest of it. It's almost really bad in terms of like you've gone away from what made the Alien franchise so great to begin with. And I think that's a good reason to be upset. Like, that, as you said, towards the end of the series, it starts to lose itself and you start losing steam. And all those good ideas they had are now kind of falling out of the way. So I don't know what's going to happen.
I feel as if, this is just my opinion, I feel as if they're trying to cater for the old fans, but they're also trying to cater for the new generation fans. And I feel as if certain properties, they get watered down. They're frightened to go, to be edgy or to be original like they did years ago, because they're frightened they're going to offend anybody. So, for example, I enjoyed Predator Badlands, but for me that works because you can do so much more with Predator. And at the end, I don't know if you watched it, but at the end of my review, I said that it very much feels like they could turn the character of Dick and do what they've done with Predator Badlands and make it more like a Mandalorian series of films, where you focus on one character who he was trying to prove himself to his clan and to his father, but in the end, he wasn't. He was just proved himself to himself. And he didn't have to prove himself to anybody else. He just had to prove himself to him, revenged his brother, and then it ended on a cliffhanger. With Alien, though, you can't really do character development too much with the xenomorph. Like you see, it's a one-track mind parasitic being. It has one, to try and turn it into something else, I think takes away from the franchise altogether. That's why they've got to focus on these other characters, which is the synthetics, the androids. But then if you focus too much on them, then you take away from what we're here for, which is the xenomorph.
Yeah, and that's why I'm frustrated because of the fact they didn't connect it to the Ripley universe, because it's really, it would be good to kind of see that. It would actually help the series for Ripley to be somehow part of that. Because if you think back to like Aliens, the sequel, that movie on its own is one of the best pieces of film you'll ever see, where it balances it balances your characters as well as the creatures involved, and it shows you how terrifying it can be, and like how they were overrunning the platoon. So that's what I wanted more to see. And if you have this called Alien Earth, well, that means that we should be facing that kind of threat because it happens fast. And so that's a little disappointing that they kind of strayed away from it. Like you said, they're concentrating too much on Wendy and them. And even though if I'm okay with like a little bit of the idea that Wendy can somehow sort of communicate with the xenomorph, I didn't want the xenomorph to become like totally reliant on Wendy. I want the xenomorph still to have its own identity. Like, you know what? I can handle you, Wendy, but I'm still going to do me. I'm a xenomorph. I'm going to do what I want to do.
It's like if you look at, say, Alien Resurrection, the hybrid like alien that comes out at the end, even though it looks at Ripley like its mother, you've seen it kill other things because it still had that alien parasitic animal instinct. It wasn't total docile.
Yeah,
Maybe
it happened twice in that film because you had the baby that killed the alien queen.
Yeah.
But earlier, when you have Brad Dourif's character in there and he's got the three in the cell, two of them look at one of the other aliens and actually kill it to get the acid blood that they melt so they can get out. So they're very clever. So that's why I kind of frustrated with this, because in this xenomorph, it should be smart enough to get and survive, but like to sit there and say that it's totally just following Wendy around to be a puppet doesn't make sense.
The only way I can see this working is if it turns out that the xenomorph's playing her and is using her.
Yeah, that would be great if that's where it's going. But I don't know.
The only other element I can see happening in a season 2, because it has been greenlit season 2, is if they reveal that there's an alien queen. And because there's an alien queen and it's got the stronger pull, the xenomorph is torn between picking Wendy and the queen and ends up turning on Wendy and siding with the queen, which would make sense and then would make the alien, her having to take on and kill the alien that basically she's been working with. But don't forget, there was also a second alien that was released.
Yeah.
So that there's two, and I think that's going to play a part. I think you're going to have the docile alien with Wendy, and you've got this rampant, proper parasitic alien that does not give a flying fuck. And I think there's going to be a war between them two aliens.
Yeah, maybe the other one that came out, I think it came out of that guy on the beach before the octoi jumped in it, but I think he's the one that had the burst where the alien got out. So maybe that one's a female and might end up, copulating with the male that's been chasing Wendy around. So hopefully that's what that leads to.
Or could turn out the one that came out the guy on the beach ends up being a queen.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm hoping that happens.
But there's a lot of things. There's a lot of places that could take this. But for me, the first 5 episodes were brilliant. Then unfortunately it just falls flat by the last couple of episodes. And I feel as if because it is under the Disney umbrella, I think the frightened. They basically want to make a theme park eventually out of freaking, Alien and Predator. You kind of see the direction they want to take it. We're going to get this walking around Disneyland at some point. Which no thank you. I'm very torn with the series. I've got a lot of frustrations with the series. The episode that everyone talks about is the episode which is the flashback, which is on the ship, which shows the initial release of the alien and how it crashed onto the planet Earth. Brilliant episode. And then once you get past the flashback episode, for me, the series basically turned to shit.
Yeah, basically.
So that's just how I feel. I don't know if you feel the same way.
No, I do. I don't think it's quite as bad as some people make it out to be. Like I said, it has some really good ideas in there, and there are some cool scenes. I didn't really mind the synthetic idea of the characters. I thought that was cool, but it towards the end, like you said, it started getting along, like you start to see where they're slipping, where they're trying to do too much like this superhero thing with Wendy, and it's like that shouldn't be that way. This should be about the alien species itself. And I like the idea with these other creatures. That's fun too. But the whole idea is a xenomorph, and like this is their thing. This is their show. This is their whole idea.
Yeah.
So
And in the first, like I say, 5 episodes, they do highlight what we're used to with the alien, with the xenomorph.
right.
Then it totally turns left, and that's what put me off. And then even the Oculus, creepy as hell, goes into the sheep. But then it shows you that's a highly intelligent creature. It even takes on a xenomorph at one point. It basically somehow has the ability to resist the acid attack. As you know, xenomorphs are full of acid. It has the ability to kind of compensate to that. And I couldn't tell if the Oculus was a protagonist or an antagonist, because it does try to help certain people throughout the course of the film, and then it attacks others. In the last time you see it, the guy where the xenomorph burst out of his body on the beach, it takes over his body. So it's basically like a zombie. He's now a zombie.
Exactly.
So there is things that I am intrigued about going into a season 2. But I don't know if it's enough to pull us back. They're going to really have to do a lot with the second season to bring us back.
Exactly. Like, because you end on those bad notes, and so now you have to worry about how can you get your audience back through that. So
if you were to rate Alien Earth season 1, how would you rate it?
I'd probably give it like a 6.5 or a 7. It's right in there,
I was going to give it a 6. It's like I say, I can watch the first 5 episodes and then I would just cut it off. Because there is a lot of great effects, great storytelling. First 5 episodes, love the setting, love the character development, but then it just, like I say, it goes left, and just it's like a train that crashes by series end for me. But yeah, Alien Earth season 2 coming in 2027, I believe. So, but that is Alien Earth. That's any final thoughts you want to give on the show, Anubis?
Not necessarily. Like I said, I talked about, like, I hope that they rethink what direction they're gonna go with it, because I don't like the direction it's going. Now, there was a very emotional, cool scene towards the end of it with Nibs, where Wendy's brother shoots her with a taser. And I initially thought he shot her with like a blaster or something and killed her, but turns out that didn't happen. I thought that would have been better if he had actually killed her, because I want to see more tension between Wendy and her brother now. But they kept Nibs alive. So again, that might be Disney trying to be soft with it or something. But
see, that's the annoying thing. That's the annoying thing, because Disney now own 20th Century Fox. They're watering down every property that Fox had. So,
yeah,
Aliens, I'll give them credit where credit due. Alien Romulus, for me, had the feel in the aura of the original Aliens in the beginning, but just like Alien Earth, the first 2 acts were great. Then it falls flat, the 3rd act. Alien Earth, first 5 episodes, brilliant. Then it falls flat, and it's a train crash for me by the end of the series. It's
right.
it's like they pull you in so far, and then the chicken out, and they go, right, we'll sprinkle some piss water on it and soften it just enough to please the new fans, because we don't want to give the original fans what they want completely. And it's frustrating.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the concerning part. But, they have to learn the hard way, I guess, if you're going to.
Yeah. So a series for me that is way better than the actual films, which are a remake, is this lovely piece of television.
Yep.
Welcome to
enjoying that.
Daring. Yes. So that hopefully will be the next television Chronicles that we'll be doing. Me and Mr. Tony the Dead are going to be doing that. But Mr. DJ Anubis, you are more than welcome to join us for that, of course. And later down the line, there's a new series that just dropped that I'm really interested in. You and me did with Thrash Ponds, we did Shogun earlier in the year. Really enjoyed that show. Really interesting show. I thought it deserved all the praise it got. It'll be interesting to see what they do for second season, since the first series was completely based on the book. This is being completely written by itself, so it's basically new material. So it'll be interesting. But this show, I'm hearing a lot of buzz about it. Last Samurai Standing. So that will be the next 2 television Chronicles coming up on the entertainment headquarters, because like I see, we're getting back to regular programming, bringing me regular shows, bringing you back also in January for the next Education, which will be on your special subject, tarantulas. And one more piece of amazing content coming to the entertainment headquarters this Saturday, being joined by, of course, DJ Anubis and a handful of other amazing friends and content creators. We are going to be tackling the Predator franchise, each and every film. So that's, I'm very much looking forward to. It's going to be a blast talking through all them with you and the rest of the guys. But that's what's coming up on the entertainment headquarters in the next few months and weeks. But what's coming up on the Metal Tavern Radio?
So far, not super lot. Later tonight, I'm getting together with Nick Arden from the Monster Report to do my next Kaiju Spotlight for Godzilla 2000.
Bitch.
And if anybody doesn't know, it's because I initially promised that Kaiju to Kevin there, but I stole it for this special segment that I'm doing with Nick. But again, Kevin's got like a shit ton of other creatures that we're going to. In fact, the next one I think I want to do is for Shimo, you and I, to get with that. I really want to talk about that Kaiju. Saturday, of course, I'm going to be on with you for the Predator franchise, which is going to be a lot of fun. I had fun going and seeing Badlands yesterday. So if you haven't seen my review yet, check it out. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, Sunday, I'm getting together with Olvin for Silver Screen Savants, and we're doing my James Bond pick of The Living Daylights. So that's pretty much what I've got on queue right now.
Yeah. as you can see, my good friend DJ Anubis has amazing content, a mixture of movie and television, gaming, and heavy metal content. So if that's your thing, you know where to check out. Please like, share, and subscribe to the Metal Tavern Radio. And as for me, if you haven't liked what you've seen, please like, share, and subscribe to the Entertainment Headquarters. We've got a lot more coming up in the next few weeks and months. Keep you all posted. But like I always say, keep on enjoying all your movies, all your television, all things entertainment. And we'll catch us all at the next one. Take care, everybody.